Hi yogis, and welcome to Radiant Heart Yoga. My name is Jane, and we're going to flow through a practice called Happy Heart. And in these times of change, when we're very uncertain how everything's going to pan out, through all of that change and uncertainty, our heart remains with this remarkable vitality, with this life-giving rhythm that resonates through us in every moment, and with that steadiness and tenacity that we can draw from in our practice. So we're going to just spend a few moments in a seated position, so any comfortable seated position. You will need a brick or something to put underneath your upper back for the beginning of the practice. And if you've got tight hamstrings, I would suggest having 2 bricks that you can put underneath your hands when we're stretching out the hamstrings. So I'm going to ask you to come into one of the heart mudras called Padma Mudra. You're going to bring the heels of your hands together, your little fingers and your thumbs, and just let the rest of your fingers open up. And then closing your eyes, relaxing your shoulders down, and either bowing your head down, or you can just close your eyes, or you can do both. So begin to find a connection to your heart through your breath. To feel deeply into this powerful rhythm of your heart. This rhythm that moves through everything that you do, that sets the tempo for every gesture, every word, every action. And this practice is an opportunity to feel that awareness, as a reminder that our heart, as well as a physical part of us, is also the seed of our compassion and our love and everything, every emotion and quality that's connected with the heart. So just take a moment as you connect to your breath to breathe in those qualities, to establish that connection. And then slowly release your hands, and just, if you've elevated your hips, just moving that to the side, and keep your brick so that it's within reach, and you're going to lower down, and you're going to keep your ankles crossed. So I'm going to cross my right ankle in front of my left to begin with. And then from there, I'm going to hold my left elbow with my right hand, and then my right elbow with my left hand. And I'm just going to start to open up my shoulders. So that's where we're going first. Just feeling where your body is in contact with your mat and where it isn't. Feeling those natural curves of your lower back, and your shoulders and your neck. So your head is resting between your arms on the floor. And you can stay here, or You can start to slide your hands further down your arms towards your shoulders, and this is optional, but maybe you can reach down to your shoulders, and then your head is going to be resting on your arms, but you're just getting a little bit more of a shoulder opener. Also opening up into the groin, into the hips a little bit. And just also reminding yourself that as you move through your practice and direct that compassion towards yourself, to modify where you need to, intensify where you need to, but most importantly, practice with using your own intuition, with responsiveness to what's going on for you in your body. And then I'm going to slowly release and then switch the cross of my ankles. So now my left ankle is in front, and now I'm going to hold my right elbow with my left hand first, and then my left elbow with my right hand. So I'm going to begin with my head between my arms, resting on the floor. Just see how that feels. And if that feels okay, I'm going to take my hands a little bit further down towards my shoulders to get a deeper hip opening. So this is what I'm referring to. If you need to modify, so maybe just reaching your arms over the crown of your head if it's hard to hold onto your elbows, or intensifying like I've just done by sliding the hands down further towards the shoulders. And then you're going to release, and you're going to get a hold of your brick. I'm just going to come up for a second. I'm going to place my brick down and then adjust the position of my brick so that I'm going to stay on the lowest level at first, so that my brick is just at the tips of my shoulder blades. And then let my head drop back. And this time, coming into a reclining Baddha Konasana position with the legs, and you can have your arms down by your sides to modify, or you can reach your arms further over the crown of your head, maybe even hold on to your elbows again. And think about just melting. Just allowing your upper body to drape over the brick. Just allowing your arms to start to drop towards the floor. The weight of your head dropping into the floor. And you can stay here, or I'm just going to raise the height of the brick. So now we're moving deeper into the space of the heart, opening up the space at the front of the heart and starting to bring more opening into the back of the heart. So I've just switched my grip on my elbows, and you can hear by my voice this is more intense. And then release. from here, lying all the way down, we're gonna work with the core. So the core supports the lower back, and the lower back supports us in the back bends. So just having your brick available to the side, and you don't have to use a brick for this, it's fine if you've not got a brick. You're going to draw your knees in towards your chest, have a little rock side to side, and then extend your legs straight up in the air, and then interlace your hands behind the back of your head and just support your neck. As you exhale, draw your navel down towards the mat, press your lower back into the mat. Now the big breath in, and as you exhale, lift your head and shoulders. And then just soft feet, but you are gently flexing your feet. And then as you exhale, you're going to pulse up. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then from here, if it's possible, you're going to place the brick on the soles of your feet. And then I'm going to just have my hands down by my sides, and we're just going to lift the hips. So big breath in, and on an exhale, little lift. Okay, so that's what we're doing, and you're trying not to drop the brick. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then you're going to take your hands back to support your head and your neck. And then we're going to put both of those movements together. So, big breath in, you're going to lift your head and shoulders up. Okay, and then exhale, little lift, okay? So, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then set the brick to the side. Hug your knees in. Little rock side to side. Little squeeze in. Starting to stretch out the glutes a little bit. And then bring your left foot down and bring your right ankle to rest on your left thigh. And then going to pick up that left leg and reach through, maybe for your shin, maybe just holding onto the back of your thigh, and gently drawing. You're drawing your right knee away as you draw your left knee towards you. So we're stretching out into the glutes, all around the sit bone, top of the hamstrings. And when we do back bends and we open up the heart space at the front, we're going to need to use and contract the hamstrings. Good. And then from here, just set that foot down. And from here, you're going to just shift your hips to the left. You're going to lift your head and shoulders up. Again, support your head and let your legs drop towards the right. You're going to try and keep both shoulder blades off the floor. And then from here, do little lifts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Oh, back down. So from here, come back, set your hips back down, cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh, and then you can modify by just staying here, or you can intensify by picking up this leg and either holding on to the back of your thigh or to the front of your shin. Just gently easing that leg towards you as you press your left knee away from you, keeping some activation in this left foot to protect your knee. And then slowly release. And from here, just shift your hips to the right a little bit. Interlace your hands behind the back of your head again. And just roll your hips across to the, or your legs across to the left. And then little crunches. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So just getting into the obliques a little bit as well. So from here, last time for the moment, just hugging your knees towards your chest, have a little rock side to side, and then hold the back of your thighs, have a little rock forwards and back, and then coming all the way up to a C. And then from here, you're going to cross your ankles, or however you get back, to all fours. And then we're going to come up to downward facing dog. So if it's too soon for you to come up to downward facing dog, just stay on all fours, especially if you've got tight hamstrings or you've got wrist sensitivity, because you're going to be able to do cat and cow from an all fours position rather as a modification rather than the wave, cat and cow wave that we're going to do. So going to come up into your downward facing dog, unless you're staying on all fours, and just take a moment to go through your alignment. So really pressing into your hands and rolling your inner elbow creases towards the front of your mat, and lengthening up through the sides of your waist, lifting your hips high, tailbone high, and then melting your heels towards the floor, pressing back through your inner thighs. And then from here, you're going to lift your heels. You can have a gentle bend in your knees all the way through this, and just press your chest back towards your thighs so that you're getting this opening in the chest and shoulders. And then from here, you're going to drop your knees towards your mat into turbo dog. So I want you to try this, and if it's too much, you're going to drop onto your knees and you're going to do cat and cow from there. So if you're going to try this, just stretch your legs straight, press your heels heavy towards the floor again, and then inhale, you're going to arch round. So this is like your cow, and you're going to come forwards into a plank position. And then from here, you're going to bend your knees and reach your arms forwards as you come up and back. So this is like your cat. Inhale, rounding forwards, and then bend your knees, come back, lifting your sit bones up as you straighten your legs, rolling forwards, inhale and exhale back. So just one more big wave through the body. Brilliant. And then inhale, come forwards to your plank pose. Just pause there. And you push the floor away. And then from here, drop your knees down and come all the way down to the floor, all the way down onto your belly. And then from here, you're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders. So you can always tap your shoulders down and just align your fingertips with your shoulders. And then from here, you're going to really lengthen your tailbone, hug your belly in, and then come up into a low cobra and just stretch your belly out. Big breath in and exhale, release back down. And then from here, pressing up, either staying on all fours and twisting like this, yeah, or come back into your downward facing dog, and this time bring your big toes to touch. And then from here, you're going to point your toes to the right, bend your knees, so your knees are low but your hips are high, and it's a big stretch into this right side of your torso, your ribs and the side of your waist. And then back to your down dog. Feet are still together, and then point your toes to the left, bend your knees, and then really stretch through the sides of your waist on this left side. And then back to your downward facing dog. Separate your feet so they're hip width apart, and walk your hands back. So if you're on all fours, just come back up, and you can have your knees, have a little bend in your knees, or you can have a much deeper bend in your knees. And then go back to holding opposite elbows into this ragdoll position. And let's just start to feel the connection through your feet to the earth, as well as starting to work into the hamstrings. And you can have a little sway side to side. And then from here, you're going to walk yourself back out to your downward facing dog. Just pause there, and then lift your heels and tiptoe back to the front of your mat. And then from here, you can have your feet separated halfway, or you can keep your feet together. You're going to inhale, halfway lift, so you can have bricks underneath your hands. And then exhale, you can bend your knees as much as you need to fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, you're going to bend your knees and lift your arms up for Utkatasana. Take a big breath in here. And then exhale, come all the way up to stand and bring your hands to your heart and find that Padma Mudra again. Take a breath or two here. And then you're going to inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, fold back down. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, you're going to come to a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana, Utkatasana, reaching your arms back. And then inhale, come back up, and exhale, halfway. One more time, inhale. And exhale, and this time you're going to interlace your hands behind you. Notice which thumb's on top, straightening your arms, squeezing your shoulder blades back. Big breath in And then exhale, straightening your legs, coming into your forward fold. So this is where you might need to take your feet further apart for stability. And then release your arms, inhale back to your utkatasana. And then exhale, opposite thumb on top. And come into your forward fold. So we're going to do that once more with each grip. Inhale, coming up, utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale. And exhale. Forward fold. So staying in your forward fold, going to bend your left knee, tip your hands to the left and twist to the right. And then come back through center, bend your right knee and drop your arms over to the right, twisting here. And then come back, reach your arms up, and this time as you exhale, you're going to see if you can step your left foot back and lower your left knee down to the floor. Keep your toes tucked at the back, and just rather than thinking about going back, think about getting longer through your torso and dropping deeper into your hips. Imagine that your right hamstrings could touch the back of your right calf, reaching your arms up, 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 squaring off your hips. And then from here, bringing your hands into your Padma Mudra, if that's possible. Take a big breath in, reach up, and then exhale. Bring your hands down to the floor. You're going to step back into downward facing dog, feet together so you can be on your knees. Point your toes to the right, bend your knees, lift your hips up. And then inhale, so you can come forwards into plank and lower all the way down, bring your knees down and take a cobra. Or from here, inhale, you can exhale, come forwards through chaturanga, inhale into upward facing dog and exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up, so you can do all of this, you can modify a bit on your knees. Exhale, step your right foot forwards, left knee down, inhale, reach your arms up. Padma Mudra. Exhale, bring your hands down, step your left foot to meet your right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it, bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, straightening your legs, drawing your hands back towards your heart. Okay, so I'm going to do that stepping back on the other side. Okay, so your right foot's going to step back next. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up. So you can touch your hands down if you need to. Step back with your right knee. Just pause here. Squaring off your hips. Reaching your arms really nice and tall. Drawing this left thigh towards your calf. And then maybe bring your hands back into your Padma Mudra. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, hands down. Inhale, step back to your downward facing dog. Point your toes to the left. Exhale, sinking down. And then whatever you did on the other side, inhale, come forward, slowing down to your upward facing dog. And or you're doing cobra. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot forwards, lower your right knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up, Padma Mudra. And exhale, step forwards. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, come all the way. Oh, sorry. Utkatasana, bend your knees. Exhale, come up. Bring your hands to your heart, okay? So we're going to do that one more time on each side. And I'm going to just move with the breath, so it'll be a little bit quicker. Okay, so from here, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up, Utkatasana. Step back, exhale. Inhale, press. This time maybe think about going back a little bit. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, point your toes to the right. Into your side stretch. Exhale, come forwards, lowering all the way down or moving through your chaturanga. So you can be on all fours here. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, step your right foot forwards, lower your left knee back down. Inhale, come up. And then just try this as you exhale. Can you step back? Feet together, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, standing up, hands to your heart. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Can you step back as you exhale? Inhale. Find your opening. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, back to your downward facing dog. Exhale, toes point to the left, hips lift. Exhale, making your way through either cobra or your up dog. Downward dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step your left foot forwards, right knee down. Inhale. And then bring your hands to the floor if you need to, or try. Step forwards. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, come all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart. Again, take a breath here. So we're going to add on now. So it's coming into the centre. So from here, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees, Utkatasana. See if you can step back as you exhale, lower this left knee down. Inhale here. And then exhale, bring your hands down. Now you can come onto all fours and do this from here. Or inhale, bring this right leg up into your three-legged down dog. And then as you exhale, come into scorpion down dog. So you're going to lift up onto the ball of your left foot. You're going to bend this right knee. You're hugging your inner thighs into the midline. And you're going to come forwards, dropping your chest, lifting your head as if you could touch the back of your head. And then inhale, come up, back, so you can be on all fours. And then exhale, bend this right knee and roll your hip open. Inhale here. And then exhale, maybe you drop this right foot behind you and come into a wild thing. And then lift your hips up, maybe some arm circles. So if your wild thing is too much and you're on all fours, just step your right foot back behind you and repeat the same movement from there. So arm circles. And then from here, come all the way back around. Inhale, lifting your right leg back up. Exhale, draw your knee in towards your chest and step your right foot forwards. So you're in a high lunge. I've got bits of my hair everywhere from braiding my hair. So from here, you're going to inhale, get longer. So this is where you can use your bricks underneath your hands. So we're going to work into the hamstrings as well. Start to open up the hamstrings. And then as you exhale, you're going to lift your hips up and back. Keep this left heel lifted. Round your spine. Inhale, come forward. So it's a little bit like cat-cow. So you're dropping your ribs, lifting your chest as you inhale, exhale, straightening both legs, rounding your spine. Inhale and exhale. And then stay here, and this time now start to lift your sit bones. So square off your hips, lift your sit bones, draw your chest forward. So take the rounding out of your upper back now. Inhale, lift your sit bones, lengthen. Maybe exhale, soften in a little bit. And then from here, inhale, looking forwards, bend your right knee. So grab your bricks again if you need them. You're going to come into a supported warrior three. So you can have your hands on bricks. And we're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana. So lots of moon poses, lots of references to moon in the poses. So this is half moon pose we're going to move into. So you can keep your hands down on the floor and just roll this hip open. Do it from there. Or you can start to roll the hip open and reach your arm up. And imagine that you've got light pouring out of your back heel, out of the crown of your head, out of your left fingertips. Take a big breath in and then exhale. Bring your left hand down and fold into a standing splits. So challenge yourself, maybe. Maybe you're going to lift this left leg a little bit higher. Maybe you can hold on to the back of this right leg and fold in a little bit deeper. And then from here, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, roll the hip open. Inhale, close the hip off. Exhale, bring both feet back together. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, come all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart. Okay, so that's one round. So we're going to do the other side. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up. See if you can step back as you exhale. So this is moon pose. Inhale, reach back. See if you can really bring your shoulder blades, squeeze them towards one another on your back. And then exhale, hands down. Stay on all fours if you need to. Inhale, reach your left leg up. So you're squaring off your hip. So your toes are pointing down and you're trying to keep your hips nice and square. And then as you inhale, you're going to lift up onto the ball of your foot. You're going to bend your left knee. Come forwards, drop your chest, lift your head. And then inhale back again. Exhale, roll the hip open. Inhale, lift your knee. Imagine that you're trying to touch your right shoulder with this left foot, but you're trying to keep your shoulders square as well. And then from here, come onto the outside edge of your right foot. Drop this left foot behind you. Inhale, lift your hips up. Maybe some arm circles. And then you're going to come all the way around. Lift that left leg back up again. Inhale. And then exhale. Bring your left knee towards your nose. And step that left foot through. So from here, you're going to stay high with this right knee lifted. Grab your bricks if you use them on the other side. Inhale, draw your chest forwards. Exhale, lift your hips around your spine, fold in. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale, stay. So I'll take the roundedness out of your spine. So it's going to give you a bigger hamstring stretch. So start to lift your hips up and back and lengthen your spine forwards. Lengthen out of your lower back. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, maybe soften in a little bit. And then inhale, halfway lift. I'm just shifting my foot a little bit across to the left. You're going to step into your supported warrior 3. So again, you're squaring off the hip, pushing the floor away, really working into this left foot. And you can stay here, opening up the hip in a supported version, or rolling that right hip open and bringing that right arm up. So imagine that you're going to be in a straight line, that your right leg is an extension of your spine. And maybe you challenge your balance a little bit and looking up towards that right thumb. Push through your right heel. One more breath, big breath in. And then exhale, right hand down and move into your standing split. So really warming up the hamstrings and all the muscles on this right leg, left leg, sorry. So lifting that right leg as high as you can, so you can have the hip open if you like, and then challenge yourself. So just staying here, or maybe holding onto the back of that left leg and just folding in a little bit deeper. One more cycle of breath. And then slowly, bring your hands back down. Inhale, roll the hip open. Exhale, close the hip back off. Bring your feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. And then from here, you can step back to downward dog, or you can step back to plank pose and move through your vinyasa. Back to down dog. And lower your knees down. Take your knees nice and wide. So you'll still be in a little bit of a back bend. Dropping your chest towards the floor. Taking your first child's pose. So start to reconnect with your breath. Let's take one more breath. And then from here, you're going to come back And you can stay on all fours and step through from there if you're modifying, or come back up to your downward facing dog. And then inhale, lift your right leg. And exhale, come back into your scorpion in down dog. And then inhale, lift that right leg back up. And exhale, step your right foot forwards. So a couple of twists. So from here, you're going to come up into your crescent pose. So if you're modifying, you can bring this left knee down to the floor. Big breath in. And as you exhale, Padma Mudra in front of your heart. So squeezing your inner thighs in towards each other, scissoring them in towards each other. And then you're going to bring your palms together and you're going to come into a twist. So you can stay, bringing your thumbs towards your chest, or you can bring your left fingertips down and reach your right arm up, opening up. And then from here, bring your hands back to prayer. And you can put your fingers down, or can you see if you can step? You're going to bring your hands in front of your chest. See if you can step your feet together and then come back into a twist. So big toes touching. Notice what's happening to this left hip and knee. So you want them to be level, your hips and your knees. So you might need to just move that left hip back. And again, you can open up your arms, intensify the twist. And then bring your hands back. Inhale here, and then exhale. Come all the way up and bring your hands to your heart. So from here, I'm going to bring my left knee in towards my chest. And then from here, I'm going to reach my arms up and stretch this left leg out. I'm going to do a few little pulses. 3, 2, and 1. Lifting the leg up, and another 3, 2, and 1. And then from here, I'm going to come back. I'm going to hold the inside edge of my foot. I bring my knees together, so I'm going to do Natarajasana, dancer's pose, which is a little back bend. Keep squeezing the inner thighs towards one another. And then from here, I'm going to start to push my foot, so engage the hamstrings, keep pushing the foot, and then keep hugging my knees in towards the midline, finding my dancer's pose. A bit wobbly this morning. And then releasing, and I'm going to bring my hand down to the floor again and come back into my Ardha Chandrasana. And maybe, if it's in your practice, to reach for this back foot, keep your knee low, and then press your foot back into your hand, just like you just did in your Natarajasana, and find this Chapasana, sugarcane version. And then from here, you're going to release, and you're going to take a big step back and come into your warrior 2. So I know I've got my back to you, but so heel to arch alignment. Really work this back foot, dropping your hip, this back hip, and reaching your arms out into your warrior 2. So just take a few breaths here, pushing down through your feet and then dragging your feet towards one another to energize your legs, tailbone long, belly lengthening as well. And then from here, you're going to reach forwards. You're going to flip your palms and reach forwards. And then you're going to come up into a reverse warrior, keeping the depth of your lunge. And maybe wrapping. So again, you can stay. You can modify by having your left hand on your hip, or you can intensify by taking the half bind and then bring, so modify, elbow comes to thigh, or fingertips come to the floor. And then from here, you're going to really roll your chest open. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards one another. And if you want to intensify again, you can take a full bind and roll your chest open from here. And then you're going to release, and you're going to take your hands towards the front and take a quarter turn back towards the front through that back foot, and then lower your left knee down to the floor. So from here, we're going to come into a half splits. So wrapping your right hip back, kicking your right heel down into the floor, and just like you did before, you can use your bricks. You're going to lift your sit bones up and back and get your spine as long as you can as you come out over that right leg. And then inhale, come halfway and bring your right heel directly in front of your left knee. And then from here, you're going to turn, you're going to flex this right foot and turn your foot out to the right. So it's a big stretch. And the outside of this thigh, big IT band stretch. So from here, if that's plenty, you're going to stay. Or, like you did on the other side, start to lift your sit bones up and back, lengthen your heart forwards, and come over this right leg. And then bring that right foot back over to the right. You're going to come up, lift this left knee, and inhale just a little bit more work for your legs. Come back into your crescent pose. Exhale, bring your Padma Mudra in front of your heart and then all the way down. And you can step back into downward facing dog, or you can step back into a plank pose and come through a vinyasa and exhale back. So every time you come through your vinyasa, you've got your cobra or your upward dog, so you're getting another back bend, opening everything up a little bit more. So second side, inhale, lift your left leg high, and exhale, step your left foot forwards. So inhale, lift your left leg high, and then exhale, bend your knee, come high on your right toes, drop your chest, lift your head, hug your knee into the midline, and then inhale, come up and back, and exhale, step your left foot forwards, and get ready to come up into your crescent pose. So make sure your feet are hip width apart, and then inhale, come up. Reaching your arms up. Good. Really lift that right heel. Keep scissoring your inner thighs, pulling your feet towards one another, and then exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart into your Padma Mudra. And then bring your palms together, and we're going to come into a twist. So bringing your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh, and bringing your palms together, and really think about using your core to twist you so that your thumbs come towards the center of your heart. And you can stay here, or you can bring your right fingertips to the floor and reach your left arm back, coming into a deeper twist. And then bring your palms back together. Lift up out off this leg, bring your hands forwards. Can you step your right foot to meet your left? And then you're going to come back into a twist. And it's this right hip now that's going to have a tendency to want to come forward. So can you pull that right hip back? Keep using your core in the twist. Maybe bring your fingertips to the floor, reach your left arm up, and then bring your hands back to prayer. Bring your hands back. Inhale, come all the way up, and exhale, hands to your heart. So this time I'm just going to move back a little bit. If you've got plenty of room in front of you, there's no need to do that. So my left leg's going to be my standing leg, and I'm going to draw my right knee in towards my chest. And then from here, I'm going to inhale, reach my arms up and extend that right leg out. So strengthening the hip flexors as well. So little pulses, 1. So I'm bringing my ribs, my pelvis towards one another. 4, 5, 6. And then from here, I'm going to bring this leg back so you can touch down to the floor anytime you need to. Hold the inside edge of the foot, and you can stay here, squeezing your legs into one another, pushing your foot into your hand. So you're still going to feel a back bend even in this position. If you can go deeper, just keep squeezing your inner thighs towards one another, and then start to push your foot back into your hand to let you tip forwards. Find your maximum stretch and stay. And then slowly, so I'm going to keep hold of my foot. Bring your left fingertips to the floor. So if you let go of the foot, just come back into your regular half moon. Or I'm going to drop this knee down, and as if I'm squeezing my inner thighs towards one another still, push my foot back into my hand again. And then release that foot and step back into Warrior 2. So adjust your stance as you need to. So from here, heel to arch alignment, you're hugging your feet towards one another, dropping the right hip down. So you're trying to get your hips as level as you can. And lengthening your tailbone and hugging your belly in. Just find your breath again. And then turn your palms up and keep the depth of your lunge and reach forward. So you want to keep the depth of this lunge. And then inhale, arcing back to your peaceful warrior. So you can modify hand to your waist, or you can wrap this right hand around for your left thigh. And then from here, you're going to come into, just going to wrap that right hand around. It's my broken wrist, it doesn't like doing it. So from here, coming into your side angle. So you can have your left elbow on your thigh if you're modifying, or intensify by keeping the bind. And if you did on the other side, you can take a full bind. Wrapping that right shoulder and the left shoulder back. And then release. Half turn back to the front. Lower your right knee down this time. And stretch your left leg out. Grab your bricks if you need them. And then flexing your toes. From here, you're going to lift your sit bones and lengthen your chest forwards. Really let your heart shine forwards. So each breath in, lifts your sit bones, lengthens from your lower back. Each breath out softens you into the stretch a little bit. And then halfway lift as you inhale. Scoot this left heel across so it's in front of your right knee. And then flexing your foot, you're going to drop your foot over towards the left. And then if this, I know I feel a lot in the outside of my thigh, my IT band. So maybe you don't need to do any more than this. Or you can repeat what you did before. Inhale, lift your sit bones, reach them up and back, lengthening through your spine, and maybe exhale, fold a little bit deeper. But just watch as like for me, if I go deeper, my foot wants to come out of the stretch. So just finding that balance, keeping the IT band stretch with the position of your foot, and also lengthening from your lower back. And then inhale, come up, bring that left leg back across and pick up your right leg. And this time step back to downward facing dog. If you want to add in a vinyasa, you can add in a vinyasa, or you can just have a little move around in your downward facing dog, maybe shaking out your head, so a few times no, maybe finishing off with a yes. And then from here, inhale, roll all the way forwards to your plank pose. You can take your knees down and come all the way down. And I know we do this stretch a lot, but we're going to do our shoulder stretch. So from here, I'm going to reach my right arm out to the right and bring my thumb to line up with my nose. So my arm is definitely not down here. And then from here, roll towards that right arm. Your head should be on the floor. Ooh. Okay, and just take a moment to get used to that position. Maybe bring your left foot to the floor. And then once you've got used to that, maybe stretch this right arm a little bit further out to the right. I'm just increasing the stretch, squeezing the shoulder blades in to the middle of the back. And then maybe bending your right knee as well. And dropping this left hip down towards the floor. maybe taking your left hand around behind you. So just keep that gentle squeeze together of the inner thighs, so you're not compressing the lower back. And then come out, rolling back onto your belly. I'm just going to scoot over, just setting up for the other side, reaching the left arm out, and then rolling towards that left arm. So I bent this right knee straight away, but you don't need to. You can keep your legs stacked. Make sure that your thumb is up high enough on this left hand so it'll be level with your nose. And just stay for a couple of breaths, and then maybe you can stretch those left fingertips further to the left, making more space in the shoulder. Maybe you can bend your left knee. Just a gentle squeeze, as if you're going to bring your knees to touch, but you're not. Just engaging the inner thighs. Maybe taking this right arm behind. So you're dropping without forcing at all, just allowing this right hip to start to drop towards the floor to intensify. And then slowly move all the way out. And then from here, bring your fingertips underneath your shoulders again. Press your feet into the floor, lengthen your tailbone, scoop your belly up, and then inhale, come up into a cobra, and then hover your hands and just start to engage all of the back muscles. But if you're clenching your glutes, can you release so you don't compress the lower back? And then bring your hands back down. Take your hands a little bit further back maybe. And then inhale, come into a high cobra. And unclench your glutes, but engage the backs of your legs. And really keep lengthening your tailbone like mad. High cobra. And then slowly come down. So moving into the deeper heart openers now. And then from here, don't want your feet too far apart, about hip width apart. I'm going to take my hands back. Interlace my fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, straighten my arms, and then from here I'm going to keep squeezing the shoulder blades together, and I'm going to lift my hands up away from my lower back, and then from here, so Shalabhasana, locust pose, big breath in, start to lift the legs, lift the chest, the heart. Reach your arms forwards. Take your legs a little bit wider. Can you lift your right leg a little bit higher? Can you lift your left leg a little bit higher? Can you lift your arms a little bit higher? And release down. So take your hands at either side of your torso. And turn your head to the right, so your left ear's on the mat. And just take a moment. And then bring your forehead back down. So we're going to do Dhanurasana, the bow pose. So from here, bend your knees, reach for your feet. And keep hugging your inner thighs towards one another, lengthening your tailbone. And then from here, going to start to push your feet back into your hands and come up. So we're going to stay on the kind of the soft part of the belly. Keep squeezing your inner thighs in towards the midline. And then can you lift your legs as high as you can? Big breath in. And exhale. Come down this time. Turning to the left, right ear on the mat. Rest for a moment. And then from it down. And then one knee, and then the other knee. And see, you can repeat the first one, or can you walk your hands further down to your ankles and flex your feet. So lengthen your tailbone, see if you can unclench your glutes, keep squeezing your inner thighs in towards the midline, and then start to push your feet back to lift your chest up. And then from here, keep pushing your shins back and see if you can come closer towards resting on your thighs. And slowly release. Yay. This time turning back to the right. Left ear on the mat. And then from here, you're going to press up and just bring your knees forwards. Take your knees wide. Come into a child's pose, but keep the back bend. So like we did before, keep reaching your sit bones back, drawing your spine forwards. And just reconnect with the breath. And then from here, you're going to come, you're going to bring your knees closer together. So this is where you could utilise your brick or a blanket or anything. So you can just sit on your heels, that's still going to stretch your quadriceps. Or you can separate your feet and you can sit on a brick, any level, or even more than one brick. Or you can sit between your heels. And you can kind of pull the skin out behind your knees. And you can stay here. Big stretch for the knees as well. So this is where you need to be using that compassion towards yourself so that you don't overdo it. You want to be able to stretch the thighs but without any pain in the knees, okay? And so you've seen the modifications, you can do any of those, or you can go a little bit further back and come on to your elbows. So I'm lengthening my tailbone, gentle engagement of the hamstrings, and then gentle squeeze in of the inner thighs. And you can come a little bit deeper by dropping your head back. So you can see this, it's still a back bend. Or you can come all the way down to the floor. You can even reach your arms over the crown of your head into Supta Virasana, so reclined hero pose. So you've got this back bend still going on, but I am consciously lengthening my tailbone as well. And then you can stay longer if you want to open up a little bit deeper, or you're going to come back up And we're going to come back and this time stand on the knees for Ustrasana. So just give your feet a little bit of a tap. So we're going to start with the toes curled under. And then from here, you're going to stand on your knees. And you're going to take your hands to your lower back. So we don't want to compress the lower back. So you're squeezing your inner thighs towards one another, and you want to try not to clench your glutes, but there will be some engagement in your hamstrings. So you're going to start to pull your elbows back towards each other, and imagine like a pole vaulter. As they come up, they lift their chest up. Before they go back, they lift the chest up. Okay, and then from here you can start to go back as much as it's okay for you, and maybe you can reach back for your heels and lift your chest. And when you come back, support your lower back as you come back up. Okay, so you can repeat that. So we're going to do one more, or you can come into a slightly deeper version where you untuck your toes. So from here, same thing. So remember, you can repeat that first one. You can just stay with your hands on your lower back and not reach back for your heels. So from here, start to push your hips forwards, but without over contracting the glutes. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another, and then start to lift up. So it's like you're lengthening your tailbone down and you're lifting up out of your pelvis. Reach back, find your feet, and unclench your glutes. Lift your chest by squeezing your shoulder blades towards one another, pressing your hips forwards. And then come back up. And slowly step your knees back, and some little circles with the pelvis on all fours. So rather than going straight from quite a strong back bend, a deep back bend, into your forward folds. So now I'm going to go the other way, just rounding. And bring in some fluid movement into the pelvis. And then walking your knees forwards, coming over your ankles and all the way onto your back. Just scooting forwards again. And then from here, drawing your knees in towards your chest. And then from here, you're going to rock all the way back and wrap your shoulders underneath. Bring your hands to your lower back again, and then keeping some length in the back of your neck, so you're not tucking your chin too deeply into your chest. And coming into your shoulder stand. And then starting to take your legs back. And tucking your toes under, so you can stay with your hands at your lower back, or again you can interlace your fingers. Just breathing into this inversion. And then when you're ready, slowly releasing down and bringing the soles of your feet together. So one of our last poses is going to be just to stretch out the inner thighs. Just resting your hands to your inner thighs, gently pressing one thigh down and then the other. And then from here, drawing your knees in, coming into a happy baby, pressing your sacrum into the floor, so finding those natural curves of your spine again. And then last stretch, bring the soles of your feet together, hook your hands around the backs of your ankles, and then from here you're going to start to press your feet towards the floor. Lower your head back down, can't get rid of my pigtail. So stretching out the wrists, the hands, the arms, gently rolling your head from side to side. Back to neutral, slowly release your legs and stretch them out for your Shavasana. So separate your feet. You can have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Let's take a big breath in. Open your mouth. Let go of any tension. Release any tension from your jaw, from your forehead, your hands. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth, softening everywhere, feeling that life-giving beat and rhythm of your heart beneath your hand. Feel it slow. Feel the energy of your heart radiating out in all directions into every cell of your body, filling it with light and with every quality of the heart. big stretch. Really out your fingers. Use a big yawn with a sigh, whatever you need, and then slowly rolling to the side and coming back up. So, bringing your hands back to Padma Mudra, feeling that happy heart that you've cultivated in your practice. Taking that out with you to everything else that you do. Bringing your hands together. Thank you for sharing this practice. Namaste.